Q Carter on the deep ball down the middle. Again, we knew we were going to get one-on-one with the safety.
That was a beautiful play.
It was a great throw, a great catch. It was more of a vertical where Irvin's was a post against their safety in read coverage. So we hit it over the top. It was a great catch, a great throw. And then his touchdown catch is really unbelievable because when Harry threw it, I saw about 3 guys from West Chester kind of in the throwing lane. And somehow it got through all 3 of their guys, and Q Carter actually had to catch the ball. It was up on his helmet.
On his helmet,
and he caught it. And usually when those things happen, when you hit the ground, the ball comes up. But he secured it. He was home in Philadelphia. He was looking forward to the game. We talked all week about it, he and I, about, going home and having a good performance, and he'd have some opportunities with the coverages that West Chester was playing. So that was big. It got us back to a 1-score game, and then we tried the bloop kick because it was there. It just didn't take a great bounce. It bounced right to them instead of like at Slippery Rock where it checked up and bounced back to us. So they had pretty good field position. I think on their 45, we were up 7. I want to say there was about 4.5, 5 minutes to go in the game. So we're looking at, we had all our timeouts. We knew we couldn't give up 2. If we gave up 2 first downs, we would have been in trouble. So we got off the field defensively and got the ball. I believe we started that last drive on our 15 maybe or 10 with 3 minutes to go. We knew we had time because we had 3 timeouts. So that's like adding almost a minute. So we knew we had time, and then we started off hitting Irvin on a comeback into the boundary, got out of bounds on our sideline. Then we hit Dwayne on a comeback to the field, and he got out of bounds. So that kind of got us started. And then we had a run. Malik Anderson had a 12-yard run that got us, around the 50-yard line there. So, we were moving the ball really well. Then I think we had a run where we got a face mask penalty. I mean, we did a good job still running the ball because they were giving us the run, but we knew with 3 timeouts we didn't have to throw it every down. And we were in a 2-minute drill, but we weren't like in a panic, hurry mode. And I think the one play we caught them, they weren't even lined up, and we snapped the ball. And we weren't really going that fast, but we weren't huddling. And they were confused, and we got a ball snapped, and they weren't even lined up. So that helped. And then we got the ball in Dwayne's hands one-on-one on the 10-yard line. I think he caught it and made 3 guys miss for the touchdown.
Yeah, we have that on a replay, as a matter of fact. This is a typical Dwayne Brown move. Let's bring that in. This tied the game at 24, and here he is out here split to the left.
Well, we knew we were getting one-on-one with actually that number 21, Anton Wu, was here. He played for us for a year and a half.
Look at his moves.
And he just kind of freaked him out and made that. I mean, that's what he does. It was a 5-yard pass that turned into a 15-yard touchdown because, as you see there, he made 3 guys miss.
Well, his yards after catch, it's been proven. I mean, he's just amazing once he catches it. So there you go. You're rolling along. The defense is playing well. You're getting big plays. Whenever Greg Moore recovered a fumble, Fowler with the strip sack on that, wasn't it?
Yes. Fowler had a great game. So did Greg Moore. Both of them tremendous. Statistically, I think Fowler had 2.5 sacks. Moore had a sack and a half. They both had a bunch of tackles for losses. Moore recovered the fumble. It was a great strip sack by Fowler. And it really set us up in business to not only to take the lead, but also to not leave them with a lot of time left on the clock. And we played it out perfectly at the end there. We said, let's get the first down and not score so we could use the clock. And then once we got the first down, we said, we're going to score the touchdown because we didn't want to leave chance to a field goal and get it blocked or a bad snap. But the reason we told Stewart to fall down the first time was we wanted to secure the first down. So we knew we would not leave them hardly any time left anyway. And we knew we'd have 2 or 3 shots to score the touchdown, and I think they probably let us score at the end there. But I mean, we got it in there no problem. But there was only 15. We left them with 15 seconds.
15, yeah. Now, you answered my question there because some coaches look at it one way. Any chance we have to score, let's score. On the other hand, you got to think about the clock and so on. He explained that pretty well. We have a replay also on Greg Moore, who was just tremendous. And of course, you mentioned Fowler. He was the PSAC Defensive Player of the Week. He's only a freshman. Here you go. 51 coming in and ball loose.
We had another one of those earlier in the game where we had a blitz on it. We hit Dooley from the backside, and the ball popped up, and Moore almost caught it in midair, and we had 3 guys on it, and they ended up getting it. So it was good that we got this one. If we had to trade it off, we'd have taken this one rather than the other one.
Now we have the touchdown, too, the 2-yard plunge, if you want to call it a plunge, by DeJour Stewart. Here we go. And, he's tough to handle.
Yeah, he had a great game running the ball. We ran the ball very well, even when the weather was bad. We just struggled to throw it the first three quarters. And, an interesting thing is when Wayne scored to make it 24-23, I think there was a minute 30 left in the game.
That's about right.
And we actually talked about maybe going for 2. And Mike Campolo had a really good – what he told me swayed me one way or the other. I was 50-50 whether to go for 2 and go for the win right there because I knew we still had 3 timeouts left. If we didn't get it, we could probably stop them and get 3 timeouts and get the ball back. But, if you get it, you take the lead. But I felt comfortable tying it. And Mike said it best. He said, Tort, we got all the momentum. Let's just tie it up and we'll keep rolling. And that right there, I was like kind of 50-50. And Coach Gregory was saying, what do you think? I got a pretty good 2-point play. And, but when Mike said, you know what, Tor, we got all kind of momentum. Let's just kick it, tie it. We got the momentum, and we'll win this thing. And that swayed me totally to kicking the extra point.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, anybody that looked at those replays in the fourth quarter with all that sun would, unless they were there or watched it on video or whatever the case may be, didn't realize the first 3 quarters I was going to ask you about the wind situation. It was kind of swirling, wasn't it?
Well, the big thing that we were talking about before the game is we wanted to get off to a fast start on offense, so we wanted to take the ball even if we wanted to toss. But then we went out there in pregame warm-up, and the wind was going one way really strong. So I told the coaches, I said, you know what, as much as I want to take the ball, we better defer so we get the wind in the first quarter. Well, that wind shifted like 3 times a quarter. Like the first quarter, it's changed 3 different times. In the fourth quarter, we should have been going into the wind, and it flipped for us that way. It was just
somebody was watching you guys.
Yeah, so it was one of those things, and I don't know what the degrees. It could have been 50 degrees, but it felt like it was 20 degrees the first half.
Yes, I know.
The way the wind was blowing and the rain, and it just the wind was swirling, and it was nasty. It really was.
It was like playing sometime that we have at Edinburgh.
Yeah,
where you have.
That's exactly like we played a game 4 or 5 years ago. It was like that at Edinburgh. Exactly what it was.
Same way. Yeah.
And so we went in at halftime, and like coaches were putting more clothes on, and players were trying to get warm because it was nasty in the first half, and we didn't handle the conditions as well as they did. On the fake punt, like it's totally there. I mean, he just drops the.
So did he have cold hands or what?
Well, he dropped the snap because the snap was not a bad snap, but with the wind, it kind of it didn't come back as a spiral. Mm-hmm. So Malachi, the last time we did it, Suman did it, and we hit Cal with it. And that fake punt was 8 for 8 going into. We had done it at West Chester in the PSAC championship 4 years ago from the exact spot on the field. Same end of the field, same spot of the field, same down and distance. We got the same look, and it would have got to the return specialist if we would have caught the snap. Because I talked to Pat after the game, and he said, what was the deal on that? And I said, I'd call it again twice on Sunday. And he said, really? I go, yeah, when you look at the video, just watch and see how open it was. Mm-hmm. And it just, I think the wind affected the snap a little bit, and it wasn't a spiral, and it kind of flipped.
Yeah.
And Noel went to, and I think he looked before he looked it in, because all he had to do was really catch it and just follow his 2 blockers. He had 2 blockers for nobody. But, we had to overcome that, and that hurt because, they got the ball and scored a touchdown,
Sure.
right, 2 plays later, and that was a big play. If we get it, we're down 7-3, we probably got 1st and 10 on at least the 50 because there's nobody there until he gets to the return specialist.
The game's within the game.
Yeah, so, as it looks on paper, and I get it, like it ends up being a bad decision, but when you watch it and when it's been 8 for 8 and it was more there than it's ever been, and we just didn't execute it.
Yeah. Well, we're with Coach Paul Tortorella, Hawk Talk. We're live from the Hilton Garden Inn, and we're on U92.5 and U92Radio.com. You can go to the U92Radio.com website to look for the emblem Hawk Talk and just click on there. We've got the video going for you here. We're going to review the season a little bit more coming up. We'll preview what's in store for 2022, and we'll do all that when we come back with the coach. We'll be back right after we take this time out.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. Visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
Hi, this is Zach, and welcome to Gingerbread Man Running Company, proudly located in the heart of Indiana on Philadelphia Street since 2009. We offer the top models from the best brands of running and walking shoes. Stop in today for your free gait analysis from our expertly trained staff. We are happy to help solve any foot or shoe issue you may have. Please visit our website for more information. Gingerbread Man Running. Catch us if you can.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan at Four Wheeling for Less, your local ATV and side-by-side dealership. We specialize in buying, selling, and servicing all major makes and models. In our sales department, we offer financing, warranties, and purchase appraisals. Our service department will keep you up and running for your next adventure, and our parts and accessories department can help you find whatever you're looking for. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or get service work done, visit our website, give us a call, or stop by today.
I'm with the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict. And Jack, finally, you will be back in the booth broadcasting the Hawks. How good does that feel?
Oh, Mark, I'll tell you what, I can't wait. It is about time that I get back there.
And we'd like to invite your business to join our Hawks Booster Club.
That's right, back the best, the IUP Crimson Hawks, and help us sponsor the games for thousands of listeners on air and online. Check out the Crimson Hawks Sports Booster Plan, which is attached.
Kenley Insurance is a family-owned and operated.
Coming to you live from the Hilton Garden Inn. We do this every Monday between 6 and 7 o'clock. This is our final show for football, then we'll make the transition to basketball next week. We're talking about the 31-24 comeback, just marvelous win, furious fourth quarter. Tort, when you're up 31-24, you scored the touchdown. I think there were 12 seconds left, and all of a sudden we look, and there was a flag and a penalty. And so now you get backed up, and you give them 15 more yards. It's like, will this thing ever end?
Like at halftime, I said to the one official, I said, I get the obvious calls. We had about 5 or 6 of them. I said, I have absolutely no problem with them. And I ripped the team at halftime, I guess you could say it. Just over, I had, I was just upset with the penalties.
Sure,
I mean,
10 of them.
We weren't playing very good, but we were playing hard. And 5 or 6 of them were legitimate calls, but there were 2 or 3 that were really ticky-tacky that shouldn't have been or didn't have to be called. So I said that at halftime, I said, just I get it, but like you guys are, we're even afraid to tackle guys now. And I said, and I get it. So West Chester ended up getting a lot of penalties on them in the second half.
They did. Yeah.
We had, I think, 2 in the second half, but the one after the extra point, like, there's no way. I mean, it's crazy that they threw a flag, but they did. So the problem was now we're kicking off from the 20, and they fair caught a line drive kick at the 29-yard line. I couldn't believe it. If you'd have told me we were going to kick off at the 20-yard line and they were going to get the ball on the 20, like I get they wanted to save time, but if that guy just runs it, they're going to get it close to the 50, and they might have a Hail Mary to get it into the end zone.
There was a lot of room there to run.
Yeah, there was, and I get why they did it because they wanted to save the clock, but it was a low line. It was supposed to be a squib kick, power kick, and Grubbs hit it, but the problem was it was just a line drive to their. I said, get it to the deep guy, but get it on the ground. Mm-hmm. Well, he got it to the deep guy. It just got to him on a fly, and it was a line drive, and they fair caught it. So if you'd have told me, hey, look, don't worry about it. They're going to get the ball on the 29-yard line. They're not going to use any of the clock, but they're going to get the ball on the 29-yard line. When we kicked off at the 20, I'd have taken that in a heartbeat. So we were happy. We said 14 seconds. They're on the 29, or maybe it was 12 seconds.
It was 12,
they might have two
12.
plays, probably 2 plays. And unless we give up a fairly deep pass on the first play, there's no way they're going to be able to get the ball to the end zone. Just it'd be impossible. The guy would have to throw it 70 yards, and they were slightly into the wind too.
Yeah.
So as long as they didn't get the ball close enough to the 50 to get a Hail Mary pass, I thought we'd be fine.
And it turned out okay too, but it was like you had to hold your breath again. Just unreal. I have here about the line play both ways. West Chester going into the game had 42 sacks on the year. We talked about this on the pregame. At least 4 games, they got none. 8 for IUP, and it wasn't 1 or 2 guys. A bunch of guys. Those are big numbers.
I think that was probably the difference in the game when you sit down and look at it. I think they hit Harry twice. After he threw the ball, they got no sacks. Our offensive line played Our offensive line's played great all year. We only gave up 8 sacks all year.
Yes.
I think we had the best offensive line in the PSAC, not even close. And we got 4 of those. Really, we got 5 starters back. Obviously, we're going to lose Dauberman, but Comedy and McLean DeJew split time. So we technically have 5 guys back that have started games for us in the offensive line. So we feel like we'll be even better next year. But the point being, we only gave up 8 sacks all year. West Chester had 42 sacks coming into the game. They didn't touch Harry but 2 times, and it was late after a throw. Then defensively, we had 8 sacks, but we really, when we went back and looked at it, we should have had 12.
Is that right?
We missed them 4 times. The one we had him for a 15-yard loss, and he just threw the ball and, got away with it. It wasn't grounding for an incomplete pass, but it should have been a 15-yard loss. We had him 3 different times on one play. Mm-hmm. And then there were 3 other times we had him, and he got out of it. So we kind of did. Realistically, we very easily could have had 12 sacks in the game.
You got to give the redshirt freshman Dooley. He's pretty good.
Oh, that guy's going to be a great quarterback.
Yeah, we ran into his parents on the way going home. We talked with him a little bit.
Yeah, and the older brother played for him
yes.
when we played him in the playoffs in the PSAC championship.
Right.
This one's got a better body. He's kind of more athletic. He was playing hurt. He had a really bad ankle that he had hurt in the Kutztown game. It kind of affected his mobility a little bit, but he can run the ball too. He hurt us, with a couple quarterback draws. We knew he'd run some quarterback counters and so forth. But, he's only a freshman. He's going to be a really good quarterback.
You talked about the offensive line. Comedy played a lot. He's a true freshman. Greg Moore has really come on with your defense. Talk about the defensive line. You got people coming back there.
Right. Out of the 53 guys on the travel squad, 45 were underclassmen. And 4 of them would have been on it if they hadn't been hurt for the season. Hardy is a receiver. Hauser was our starting running back at Kutztown and got hurt on the first series of the game. Defensively, Montel Sims would have had a chance to start at linebacker this year, and he tore his knee up in spring practice. Mm-hmm. And then Toller was running with the ones at safety in preseason camp, and he hurt his knee. So out of the 53, if you throw those 4 in and make it 57, 49 of them would have been underclassmen. So to get to the point in the game Saturday, we really only had 2 seniors playing for us on defense, and that was Gibson and Knoll, and everybody else was an underclassman. Mm-hmm. We started 4 freshmen in the secondary. Fowler's a freshman at defensive end. Biss played a lot at linebacker. He's a freshman. Fizel played a lot at defensive end. He's a freshman. That's a lot of young guys out there. But Moore's a junior, and he's really come on.
Yes, he's been tremendous. Right. Wallace is back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's only a junior. There's no seniors in the front. There aren't any. And like I said, secondary-wise, Gibson was the only senior, and Newell was the linebacker as a senior. So the defense is really young. I mean, they're still going to be young. If you played a game tomorrow, you'd be starting those guys, and they'd just be considered sophomores now instead of freshmen. So there's 7 guys that are slated to start if you played tomorrow, and they would just be sophomores now instead of freshmen.
Well, that's going to make the secondary coaches pretty happy with that, that's for sure. You're going to have to probably find some linebackers, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, like I said, we have Sims, who should be back this spring. We got Darius Lloyd, Biss. Kelly has the option to come back. We don't know yet how that's going to go. And actually, Charles Ingram, who's playing safety for us now, may grow into a linebacker. He's probably more suited to be a will linebacker where Newell's playing at right now. And he's done a good job at safety, but, he's probably going to outgrow that position.
Running backs. You lose 2 guys that have been with you in Malik Anderson and Justice Evans forever. Yeah. And they've done in their own ways and collectively. You couldn't ask for anything more, could you?
Absolutely not. I mean, if you could bring in 2 freshmen and get them to do over the 5 and 6 years that these 2 guys have been in the program, you'd take it every time. I mean, these guys have been stalwarts forever since I've been the head coach. They've been there. Malik was there, played as a true freshman the year before I became the head coach, but he ends up being a 6th-year guy. Some of the seniors that we'll have next year, I think we have 8 seniors that will be starters next year that have been in the program the whole time. And some of them will be 6-year guys because they had redshirted, and then when you throw COVID in, it'll be a 6th-year. A lot of them will be graduating, like John Robinson, Daryl Davis, Petropola. I mean, we'll be like kind of Shepard with the 29, whatever, how many grad transfers or graduate students they have. I think we have 15 or 14 seniors right now that'll be on the team next year. And I think we looked at it today, 8 or 9 of them will be in grad school.
Grad school, yeah. We're going to talk about, of course, you have Adam Hauser and Stewart.
Yeah, and we have the 2, Stewart's going to be a sophomore, and Hauser's going to be a sophomore too because he's going to get a red shirt. So, if those guys stay healthy, hopefully you have them for 3 more years together.
How about the young man, Woody, from Edinburgh?
Yeah, he was ineligible this year because of the 2-time transfer. He'll actually be a sophomore also. And then the other running back that we have on the roster that played on special teams is Sirianni, and he'll be a sophomore.
All right, we're with Coach Paul Tortorella. We're going to talk more about what's going on for the future, too. And we have a special guest coming up. And I see that he is here. And we'll find out all about it in just a moment. It's Hawk Talk with Coach Paul Tortorella and others. And we're coming to you live from the Hilton Garden Inn. And we'll be back on U92.5 and U92Radio.com.
Kenley Insurance is a family-owned and operated insurance broker located in downtown Indiana at 689 Philadelphia Street.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kenley, a licensed insurance agent with 15 years of experience in the industry. We offer many solutions such as home, auto, renters, life, flood, and many more specialty products.
Hi, my name is Sam Kenley. We are partnered with over 30 A-rated companies such as Progressive, Travelers, Allstate, MetLife, and Nationwide, just to name a few.
Please call 724-216-0972 for your free insurance review.
The Co-op store has the largest selection of IUP gifts and apparel. The Co-op is always there with its convenient location and hours. The Co-op store has been serving IUP and the Indiana community since 1933, and all profits are returned to the students through campus programs and activities. The Co-op has all your campus needs from the dorm to the classroom. visit us online at www.iupstore.com.
Hi, this is Zach, and welcome to Gingerbread Man Running Company, proudly located in the heart of Indiana on Philadelphia Street since 2009. We offer the top models from the best brands of running and walking shoes. Stop in today for your free gait analysis from our expertly trained staff. We are happy to help solve any foot or shoe issue you may have. Please visit our website for more information. Gingerbread Man Running. Catch us if you can.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan. Hey everyone, this is Ryan at Four Wheeling for Less, your local ATV and side-by-side dealership. We specialize in buying, selling, and servicing all major makes and models. In our sales department, we offer financing, warranties, and purchase appraisals. Our service department will keep you up and running for your next adventure, and our parts and accessories department can help you find whatever you're looking for. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or get service work done, visit our website, give us a call, or stop by.
Man, I wasn't even looking.
I'm with the voice of the IUP Crimson Hawks, Jack Benedict. And Jack, finally, you will be back in the booth broadcasting the Hawks. How good does that feel?
Mark, I'll tell you what, I can't wait. It is about time that I get back there.
And we'd like to invite your business to join our Hawks Booster Club.
That's right, back the best, the IUP Crimson Hawks, and help us sponsor the games for thousands of listeners on air and online. Check out the Crimson Hawks Sports Booster Plan, which is attached.
Kenley Insurance is a family-owned and operated insurance broker located in downtown Indiana at 689 Philadelphia Street.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kenley, a licensed insurance agent with 15 years of experience in the industry. We offer many solutions such as home, auto, renters, life, flood, and many more specialty products.
Hi, my name is Sam Kenley. We are partnered with over 30 A-rated companies such as Progressive, Travelers, Allstate, MetLife, and Nationwide, just to name a few.
Please call 724-216-0972 for your free insurance review.
Coach Tortorella with us right here. We covered a lot of the different positions. I didn't mention, let's go with wideouts first of all. Of course, Irv Charles deserves a lot of credit, not only for being a great player and putting up numbers, but for sticking around after all of this happened, and he had a tremendous year. So, that in more ways than one, that's a big position to fill.
Absolutely. I mean, he had a great year. And Irv's the kind of guy when you talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the drop against Cal and Slippery Rock. And I said, yeah, how about the other 20 that you caught? So, I mean, he's been great. He's had a great year. I don't know if he'll win Offensive Player of the Year, him or Dwayne, in the conference, but they're right up there with it. But we still got Dwayne, we got Carter, we got Ridley, who played Saturday, we got Dan Debner, Hardy's obviously been out with an injury. The guy that we're really excited about is Hauser's brother, Isaiah. He's going to be a good player. He's just got to get a little bigger, but he's shifty. He's got good hands. He's really fast. He's a track guy. We're excited about him. And then, in the tight end position, we got all three tight ends back. So when you talk receivers and tight ends, out of the whole group, there's probably 12 wideouts on the roster and 3 tight ends out of the 15. Only one of them are seniors, and that's Irv. Now that's a big guy, but
yes.
That's
but numbers.
It's a lot of guys to have back, and
sure.
We looked at it, and when you talked about the 2 running backs, and then the offensive line, and you look at, we really have about 9 starters back on offense. When you look at it.
So somebody's watching this, say, well, Jack, ask about the quarterback, would you?
Well,
I just
absolutely.
Harry Woodbury did a fabulous job.
We're 2 for 2 on 1-year grad transfers with him and Maxwell. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better for a 1-year deal with both of them. So obviously we still have Javon Davis, who started 2 games for us. We're thin in numbers there. We're going to have to recruit a high school quarterback. Logan Horn's on the roster, and he did a good job running the scout team. And, as I tell all of our players at all the positions, we're not, diving into the portal for players, but if there are players out there at any position that can improve our team, we're certainly going to investigate it, and so that's where it is. I mean, that's the reality of the situation, no matter what position you play.
I see some names, and I don't know these players, but names coming out of different universities where the transfer portal.
Right.
For the fan, the average fan, or the fan maybe that doesn't know, explain how that works. What a player has to do, and then if he wants to move on.
Well, they call, obviously they talk to their head coach, and they they request to be put in the transfer portal. And this has nothing to do with graduate transfer. Once you graduate, you don't have to be in the portal. You can go wherever you want. If you want to get into the transfer portal, they can deny some schools. If somebody in the PSAC has a guy that goes into the transfer portal and he's not going to graduate, they may say, well, you can't go to anywhere in the PSAC West. Mm-hmm. We haven't had a lot of guys leave our program in the last 4 years and ask to go in the transfer portal, but I kind of have a blanket philosophy on that. I really won't restrict them from going anywhere. I really don't. If it doesn't work at our place and they want to go to a PSAC West school,
you're okay with that?
I'm all right with it.
Yeah. And, each school has a different philosophy.
It's there's no right or wrong. It's just your philosophy. Usually, if we're losing a guy that wants to get into the transfer portal, he hasn't had a lot of success playing for us, or he hasn't done well academically, or he's just not happy here. So, I say that's fine, and if you want to you can transfer wherever you want.
Yeah, he may want to go to his home area.
Or, a guy could be from Philly and may want to go out to the eastern part of the state, or I don't get hung up on that. Mm-hmm. And then if a guy that we're interested in is in the portal and he's restricted, that you can't, and it happens, believe me, we won't let you go to IUP, or we won't let you go to a PSAC West school, then that's the end of it. I don't, I don't bother with it.
Let's take a look at 2022 as far as the schedule is concerned. So this year you started off, obviously, 2 home games with Kutztown and with Shepard.
Right.
You chose not to have an 11th game.
Correct.
Because I know you wanted to play away. Now, it's just the reverse.
Right.
If I have it correctly, it's at East Stroud and at Ship the first 2
Correct.
games. So now will you look for an 11th game?
We've started it today already. We've publicized it and advertised
11th game.
An 11th game, and we do a home and home, a 2-year deal. We'd like the first year to be a home game for us, so we don't play 3 away games at the beginning of the year. And I go back and everybody asks, well, why didn't you play 11th game? What? We played the 4th toughest schedule in the country in Division II football. So, I really don't think we needed to play an 11th game. The 2 schools that wanted to play us are both in the NCAA playoffs, and we'd have had to travel to Texas or Missouri. So that wasn't going to happen.
And
financially, it wasn't going to happen.
I was going to say that's expensive.
Let alone how good they were. They could have been the worst teams in the country. We're not traveling to Missouri and to Texas to play an 11th game when we have the 4th toughest schedule in the country. I mean, we're playing, we were 2-1 against 3 teams that are in the playoffs in the East region, in the Northeast region. So we didn't need to add anybody. We played the top without. There wasn't even anybody close. I think Kutztown came in 9th. Our buddy Matt Berglund has every statistic known to mankind, and he hit me up with that last week. He said, you got the 4th toughest schedule in Division II in the country, and the only closest one in the PSAC is Kutztown at 9. So, we're going to play East Stroudsburg and Shippensburg on the road, and we're going to try to play an 11th game in the opener and hopefully be a home game this year and an away game the following year. I think you see where Cal, had 1 loss, and they didn't get in because, they didn't play anybody. Mm-hmm. And part of that isn't their fault because it just happens with the crossover. The other statistic when you talk about scheduling, and Matt came up with this one, he went back and looked at the 3 teams in the PSAC that have won the region over the last 10 years. And we've done it twice, and Slippery Rock's done it once. And all 3 of those years, the teams that played easier crossover games won the region. We opened the season up against Kutztown and Shepard. They're 1-2 in the region, and we're playing them at the beginning of the year after a COVID year,
without
our starting quarterback and without a bunch of coaches. People don't, behind the scenes, people don't realize we had 3 coaches on the sideline for the Kutztown game. So I thought it was an amazing effort by our players to win a game against a great team. And then we have to play Shepard the next week without our quarterback, and we don't have those coaches all week in practice. Now, they show up, they were available Friday and Saturday morning of the game, but we practiced the whole week.
Sure.
with me, Mike Campolo, and Coach Smith actually had to go into protocol too. I was trying to run the defense and be the head coach, and Mike was running the offense all week in practice. So, there's a lot of things that go on and happen behind the scenes that nobody has any idea about. Now, these aren't excuses. I'm just facts and real-life reality. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And I thought actually it was pretty good that we actually won one of the two games under those conditions. I mean, Thursday, you picture Thursday at 3 o'clock, the trainer coming to you and says you're going to be without 5 coaches and without your starting quarterback on Saturday for the opening game of the season after a year of COVID not playing. And Kutztown played a game too. They had a game the first week.
Yes, that's right. They had that first game.
So you talk about a perfect storm in a bad way. I mean, that's what we got hit with at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, a day and a half before. I mean, I actually called the pass plays in the Kutztown game on offense. Yeah, I mean, it was me and Mike, and Smitty had the defense. Mike handled most of the offense and the run game, and I had to have my cheat sheet there with what I call passes and what we really call passes, and we got it done.
Yeah. Well, now, of course, the selections came out for the region.
Right.
Kutztown gets a bye there, the number 1. Slippery Rock gets in. And, of course, you had Notre Dame, Ohio, and Findlay gets in with an 8-3 record. Explain, and you looked at the whole bracketing, and you pretty much said, looked like it was on the level. 3 losses for Findlay, but explain. You told me beforehand, I wasn't aware of this.
Well, Tommy Rebholz, who played for us, who I know very well, is the defensive coordinator at Findlay. He called me last night to ask me about Shepard, and I told him something. Basically, what he should have said to me is, tell me something I don't know. I said, they got the best quarterback in college Division II football. Yeah. And he said, great, I know that. Tell me something else. And I said, well, watch the film. You'll see it. I said, we struggled in the second half, et cetera, et cetera. But when I talked to him about his schedule, and they lost 3 games. They lost 1 game, he said, to a Hillsdale, a 500 team in their league, Hillsdale. Their other 2 losses were non-conference at Ferris State, who's number 1 in the country, and at Lindenwood, that team from Missouri that wanted us to come out there and play. And I think they were 8-2 or 9-2, Lindenwood, and their 2 losses are to FCS teams. So how can you not, everybody says, well, they have 3 losses. They have 3 losses. Really, they have 1 loss to Hillsdale. You can't look at those other 2 non-conference games against 2 teams in the top 10 and compare them. And I like Cal. I think they're a very good team. I like Gary. They got caught with a bad schedule, and it's not their fault.
No.
That's just with the crossovers. Like next year, they open up with us. They open up what we had. They open up at Kutztown and at Shepard. They actually got to go play them on the road. We at least had them at home.
Yes.
And, so they got our schedule in the next 2 years. In the first year, they got to play both of those teams on the road at the beginning. And like I said, when you go back and you look at teams that win the region, the 3 PSAC teams that have won the region in the last 10 years did not play very good crossover teams. Now, in 2017, we opened up with Ashland and beat Ashland, who was a playoff team. So, we didn't have a great crossover schedule, but we beat a good Cal team. We beat a good Slippery Rock team. Then we beat a good West Chester team in the PSAC championship, but we also had a first game against Ashland, who was a top 15 team.
Yeah,
so we didn't sneak in.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to play 2 crossovers that, picture playing 2 tough crossovers that year. Ashland, Slippery Rock, Cal, and then West Chester in the PSAC championship game. I mean, you can't survive that.
It's murder.
It's murder.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough that we played well and won 13 straight, but our 2 crossover games were against teams that weren't as good as the good teams in the in the East. And then you say, well, Slippery Rock has 2 losses. Why are they in? Well, number 1, they beat Cal. And after they beat Cal, they both have 1 loss. Well, Cal goes to play Bloomsburg, and Slippery Rock has to go play in the PSAC championship at Kutztown. You can't penalize them for losing that game. So everybody asked me, what do you think's going to happen if Slippery Rock loses in the PSAC championship? I said, I don't know what I think's going to happen, but I think what should happen is Slippery Rock should get in because they beat them head-to-head.
Yeah. Interesting. I know that, people think maybe that the strength of schedule isn't such a big deal, that the team should play cupcakes or whatever. But you really don't get any better when that happens, do you?
Well, if you do, you got to win every game. You know, like we did, we won every game in 17. And in 2012, when we were really good and we ripped through the region, we played a couple easy crossovers, but we had to play Shippensburg in the PSAC championship, and they were 10-0, and they were ranked like third in the country.
Yeah.
So that's why we were a number one seed, you know, even though we had one loss, you know, in 2012. We only lost one game, and we got a higher seed because we played a very good Shippensburg team in a PSAC championship game. So it's simple. If you're stuck with the bad crossover game, so to speak, you can't slip up. You almost got to win every game. If you play a very tough crossover schedule, you can slip up once, but you still, sometimes the schedule wears you out. You know, the thing that I talk about, and it's just being a realist, every year we play Cal and Slippery Rock back-to-back. Our toughest game of the year is the game after those two. 2017, we handled Slippery Rock, handled Cal very easily. We struggled to beat Clarion at Clarion that next week after those two games, and that was the closest game we played all year when we were 13-0. That was the game we could have lost.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you know, with what happened with Cal, and then, you know, okay, we can bounce back against a team that won one game in Edinburgh. Just doesn't.
Well, and here's another one. I
got to be
talked
ready
today about. Everybody asked me about Shepard and Kutztown. I said, well, Kutztown, they're both really good. I think they're the best two teams in the region. Kutztown beat Shepard at Shepard.
Yes.
And that's a great win. But the first three games of that year, Shepard played on the road, and the third game was against us. That fourth game was home against Kutztown. So Kutztown got them at a perfect time. Not to say they wouldn't have beaten them anyway, but they got Shepard in a kind of a situation like what I say after we played Cal and Slippery Rock.
Sure.
They played at Ohio Dominican, which was a tough game. Then they played at Gannon, and they handled that one pretty easily. Then they played here against us and played a great game. And, you know, then they went home for their fourth game after playing 3 road games against 2 pretty good teams. And probably didn't play as well, and Kutztown played a great game, and there you have it.
See what happened, yeah. Well, I tell you, the games when next year begins, regardless of who you have for the first game of the year, East Stroudsburg and Shippensburg won't be any picnic.
No, and you play them on the road.
On the road,
yeah. You know, East Stroudsburg's a long. You know, I say that, but we're 19-2 on the road in the 4 years I've been the head coach.
Well, I'm going to say the road. You guys are road warriors.
Well, Matt came up with another. This
guy's getting a lot of airtime.
I'm giving him a lot of publicity. He texted me today. He said, "You guys are 19-2 on the road the last 4 years." He said, the only team close in the PSAC is Kutztown. They're 19-2 on the road.
No kidding.
He goes, after that, the next closest team has 5 losses on the road. So what we got to do is maybe play every game on the road or pretend when we play at home it's a road game.
Either that or if we play Kutztown, we could play the neutral site.
Well, I don't know about that because that's not considered an away game. Right now,
that's true.
You know, we've not played. I mean, we've had some great home wins. Don't get me wrong, but the fact of the matter is we've lost 9 games in 4 years, and 7 of them have been at home, and only 2 have been on the road.
Amazing.
The other crazy statistic that I texted Matt on Saturday, I said, you could throw this in your nugget list. Since I've been the head coach, we've never lost a game when we stayed in the hotel the night before a game.
Well, there you go, folks.
So any donors out there that want us to win them all, put us in a hotel every game, whether it's home or away.
Get a room for me.
Okay.
Tort, thanks. It's been wonderful. And we thank the Hilton Garden Inn for establishing something like this, and Kerry Rako from Renda Broadcasting, Mark Burdick, and John Smathers. I mean, we just have a great time with this and bringing everybody up to date with IUP football. And we'll switch over to basketball next week. And I know you're a basketball fan.
Maybe I'll come in here and cat call my buddy Lombardi on his show.
Well,
is it next Monday?
That could.
I'll let a couple Mondays. I'll let him
give him a break. Huh?
Well, like we say, the ratings will probably go down now that he's taken over, but hopefully they won't.
Yeah. Thanks, Tort. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Paul Tortorella and all our guests for this year, and everybody that I mentioned, and for Daniel Pisarczyk, who is our producer of this show. This is Jack Benedict, and have yourself a Major League evening. Right on at 7 o'clock. Boy, my timing is amazing.
Here.